Dermatologist Sherry Ingraham with Advanced Dermatology is seeing patients with these pesky bites, and she's joining us now with treatment tips. Dr. Ingraham, welcome to the show. It is nice to see you there at the office. And okay, let's break it down. First of all, what are these gnats? Because we've mentioned fruit flies on the show. We've mentioned drain gnats. They're those things that outside when you're running at sunset, suddenly you hit a bunch of gnats and you might swallow some or they go in your nose.
Yeah.
So how do we know what the gnats actually are and how to avoid getting bitten?
So they are really swarming often when you're outside. They're a type of fly. We often refer to them as biting midges or no-see-ums, but they're all in that same family. And the good thing is in the United States, for the most part, as far as we know, the ones that bite us here are not vectors for disease. In other parts of the world, there are vectors for disease that are biting gnats that are endemic to those countries. But in the United States, really all we have to worry about is these pesky critters biting us and causing us to have itching and sometimes an allergic reaction.
You know, this is really interesting because I find that when you do get bit by a gnat, it's totally different than our state bird, the mosquito bite. It seems like it itches for longer periods of time, and you may just have one instead of several.
You know, that's a very good point. A lot of patients will come in and they'll have a big one by their eye and a big inflamed nodule almost on their neck, and they'll say, I think these are mosquito bites or gnat bites, and you can almost tell. They tend to bite around moist areas, so the nose, the mouth, the eyes. There's some that are even known as facial gnats, and they do cause a very brisk inflammatory response. They bite a little differently than mosquitoes because they actually use their scissor-like mouth to extract a little blood, and then they inject a little saliva, which can be very inflammatory to us. So that's why it causes that brisk inflammatory response.
Yeah.
And it tends to last a little longer, I find, than mosquito bites.
Okay, and mosquitoes, Dr. Ingraham, can sometimes bite you through your clothing. You're saying it's common, though, for people to have gnats actually crawl into these moist areas, like around your belt line, around your ankles, even crawling into the hair and biting your scalp?
Yes, you know, they can really get up and in anywhere, and you've got to live, but a good way to protect yourself, you know, if you're out gardening a lot, they say you can wear a broad rim hat with a really fine mesh. One of those you see kind of a beekeeper doing, but not so severe. A fine little mesh is good because you protect from the sun and the gnats. And also wearing clothes that are lighter colored, doing this at a different time of day. So just like mosquitoes, they tend to bite more in the morning and at dusk. So maybe don't be out during those hours. And then we can talk a little about a lot of the common things we do to avoid mosquito bites. You can also invoke to avoid gnat bites.
So would that mean using a repellent or a spray for that matter?
Absolutely, kind of double duty. So with gnats, you can wear pretty tight-fitting clothes. So maybe a good sun shirt even. You know, a good long sleeve shirt where you're covered. They may get in, but not as well. They don't tend to bite through clothing too much, so they can wander up in there. As Derek had mentioned, using DEET-based products is always the best. You know, DEET is a tried and true chemical really from the 1950s. And the important thing people need to know about DEET is age is 2 months and up. It is safe. And the concentration of DEET really denotes more about how long it's going to last. So some of these family products that are in the 7 to 15% DEET range give you about an hour to an hour and a half of protection. When you get a product that's more in the 20s and 30s, that's kind of your maximum amount of protection you're going to get. If the DEET concentration is higher, that just lengthens the time. So I always tell patients, reapply it throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, get your kids to wash it off because you don't want to go to bed with it on. Now, some people want a more natural product. Now, you may be trading efficacy for natural, I tell them. So something that's more of a hybrid maybe is picaridin, and Cutter makes picaridin. This lasts about 6 to 8 hours, and it's derived from pepper, and it works really, really well in protecting you from mosquitoes and oftentimes gnats. There's also oil of lemon eucalyptus. Cutter makes a product called oil of lemon eucalyptus that I want to show you. You can buy this at all grocery stores, drugstores. This is a more natural product. It's derived from eucalyptus, but you have to use it on children 3 years and older. That's the only caveat with this product.
I bet it smells good. We got about a minute left, doctor. A couple more points. We've talked about prevention. Let's talk about what to do if you are bitten. How do you treat a bite and make the itching and redness go away?
That's the bottom line, right? How do we make it less miserable? So the first thing you want to do is get soap and water and wash it, because you want to get any possible infectious source off of there, right? You don't know if you've scratched it, if there's a little dirt on it. And then you can apply ice. Ice will oftentimes mitigate that inflammatory histamine response and kind of make you feel better. So put a little ice on it. If it's still inflamed, what you can do is get a product. I like Neosinolar. This is a prescription product that has Neosporin and cortisone in it, but from the grocery store you can get Cordaid. Everyone should keep a tube of Cordaid in their drawer. Put it on your bites or your kids' bites, and then give them a Zyrtec or a Benadryl, or take one yourself. That'll really shut down that inflammatory response. Now, if you've done all of that and you're miserable, it's swelling, it may even look infected, that's the time to call your doctor, go to the dermatologist and get checked.
Well, Dr. Sherry Ingraham from Advanced Dermatology, we love seeing you. We love hearing all of your insight, and hopefully we'll see you back in the studio again soon. And to connect with Dr. Ingraham, visit our website, the Scene on Houston Life section.
All right, doctor, thank you. We'll be right back.